I'm excited to like reconnect. I feel like I'm really grounding back in since our session that I channeled from the south of France and being back in Los Angeles, being, able to just ground in the place where I live is very powerful. And what I would love to hear is just like where everybody's at, maybe a win, something that they're celebrating, or just like a quick check-in before we dive into the topic today, which, I always like to hear like first where you're at, but what I'm really excited to do is to kind of blend our, soul aligned offerings that we've been channeling this month and to start to move a little bit into that core messaging. I've been seeing my Facebook ads convert really well right now, which is really exciting. And I think a big part of that is the messaging. I've really honed in on that the past, I would say half a year, the past 6 months. And so I'm really excited to like move into like how we're like talking around our offers and how we're talking about our work. But first, I'd love to just hear from you like a quick win or a check-in, something that you want to share with the group.
Well, I don't want to overtake the call this time, so I'll let Lucy go first.
Okay, let's let Lucy go first. But I felt like you were like so right on topic with what we needed to talk about last time. So I loved that. Lucy. Lucy, I know it's morning for you. It's so good to see
Yeah,
you.
yeah, it's 7 a.m. So yeah, I checked. I've got it all set up on my clock now, so I know exactly
Okay.
what time it is there.
Okay.
Oh, so what are we talking about? The wins.
Yeah.
I
Let's
had a really good day yesterday, actually. Just
huh?
full of energy and just got a lot done behind the scenes, and yeah, redid my chakra harmony course into the audios that we spoke about, and yeah, so just about to put that out there again.
Mhm.
Yeah, still letting other things land though. So yeah, a work in progress.
I'll say I'm really loving courses right now. I feel like they're really, just time liberating and I've just noticed people are really liking those. So I'm really excited to hear, how that goes, like with putting it out there and talking about it more and sharing that you have the audios ready and all of that. So
Yeah,
congratulations.
so I've just got to go back and double check everything's okay. I ran an ad a couple of weeks ago, a Facebook ad, or didn't do well at all. So yeah, I wanted to talk to you a bit more about that. Um,
Okay.
it
Yeah.
just didn't hit. It was bringing in people from where I didn't even put the locations in. So
Oh, it was bringing people from different locations. Is
yeah,
that?
but not at the in-person sessions. So it's like, well, yeah, there's
Yeah.
people like from another state, and I'm like, well, that's not helpful.
Right. And sometimes Facebook like misdelivers. I shared last week that I was running ads like September through October, and it completely misdelivered my ad for like 30 days straight. And I end up hopping on a call with a Facebook marketing person and a support person, and they confirmed that the ad had misdelivered. And they were like, okay, well, just create a new one and do it again. And then I did it all over again.
Yeah.
And, you know, I only changed maybe like two settings. But I had to just create the ad again. So if
Mm.
you want, I want to invite you because the ads, there's a lot I could say about them. I've taken now 4 different Facebook ads courses, and I've worked with 2 different marketing experts. And I would say that each one I learned something different from because every single Facebook person is going to have their own experience and their own ideas. But if you ever feel like you want to drop like the copy from the ad or the creative from the ad into the Telegram chat, then I can give you feedback on it. I can also share like different audience settings and things like that that have worked really well for me that might also work well for you because I do.
Yeah, I did what I usually do, and I just noticed the last 2 ads haven't run well. And then I just did what I used to do. And yeah, put in my audience ages, and only woman and locations and everything. I usually do it from boosting a post. So I don't know if that's
Yeah, I've heard mixed things about that. I had done that as well. For when I was doing like local workshops, I would boost a post to that neighborhood. Actually had people come from that, but I've heard some mixed things. Generally Facebook ads experts say not to boost the post, but to if you have a high performing post, to take that post and turn it into an ad. But they said that the boost doesn't allow you to have as much control as you might want to have. And so if you're describing like it getting delivered to people that maybe you didn't necessarily want, one reason that I've heard for that is because the boosts you don't have as much control as when you set up a manual ad. So like I would take the copy from that post, the image from that post, and keep it, especially if it performed well for you. But then I would make an ad where you have manual settings on that ad, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And then are you also marketing these things organically, Lucy?
Yeah, I still do that. It's been quite quiet, and I don't know if it's summer's upon us or what it is. We've had a few hot days. The weather's been a bit all over the place. Yeah, it's just been pretty quiet.
It could be summer, and I know it's also interesting in Australia because it's like summer and year's end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see like, just to help you brainstorm like different ideas, like hand raiser post things that people might respond to. But I think just, for our sake, just taking like those 2 to 3 aligned actions a day that seem like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to focus on, can be really helpful. But if you ever want ideas, if you're like, I'm doing hand raiser posts and you want to drop them in the chat in Telegram, you certainly can. It's been really hot here too. It's like 90 degrees today in LA, which is crazy. It's like fall. It's almost winter, and it's like, we're having a heat advisory. So I don't know what's going on energetically. Okay, so congratulations on your audio, on reworking on that and getting that course
Yeah.
ready to go. And like, I think this will be a perfect time to like during this call, just brainstorm, different messages that you might want to put out there to get people talking and buzzing about this new course that you have. So
Well, it's not a new course. It's just one that I
rework.
created, took off the shelf, and then rejigged it and putting it back.
No, and like honestly, I think that that's really powerful. I have a course called Profit from Workshops that I released 6 years ago, and I've already redone it once. Then I added new modules to it. I think it's really important, and I would like to actually go back and do it again and turn it into like a completely audio experience that people can listen to on the go and come up with their signature workshop, and take that to 100K on the go.
Yeah, so I took all the audio, took all the videos out and only put audio. So I'll just go back and just double check it's all making sense, and then
That sounds really cool. And can you remind us the name of that course, Lucy?
it's called Chakra Harmony: Empowering Midlife Women.
Beautiful. Okay, amazing.
Thank you.
So, Becky?
So I have been having success with the conversions are in the conversations.
Yes, tell me.
Yes. So on Monday, starting last week, I was like looking at this week that we're in right now, and I'm like, okay, I'm set up for a really good week. I got a lot of stuff going on. I got new clients coming in. All these things. And then Friday, my Tuesday client canceled. On Monday, my Monday client no-showed. Now she was like we hadn't started working together yet. She
Okay, new.
no-showed on her consultation call.
Okay.
And I was just like, so yesterday morning, I was like, oh, I do not have the energy to deal with this downward spiral, and I was just like really almost like just gonna check out for the day.
Mhm.
And I was like, no, I'm going to grab a notebook, and I'm gonna just start flipping through some old notes. Somewhere in there, past Becky wrote something really motivating for future Becky,
Oh my gosh, what did you write? I
and
love it.
I am going to find it. And so I did. So there is this phrase that I use. I heard it from someone else, and I wrote in this notebook in September, I am in business jail for 2 years.
Oh,
And in my world, business jail means I have to stay on one path. I
mhm.
cannot keep trying to reinvent the
Okay.
wheel. I cannot
Okay.
keep trying to divert my attention to here or there. To
Okay.
just stay the course is what that
I
means
love
for me.
that. Okay.
And so I was like, oh, yeah, I am in business jail. I'm in
That's
business
funny.
jail. I forgot. And so I was like, well, I guess I got to do what people in business jail do. They do all the same things they do every day, and they don't get distracted, and they keep the course and all that. So I was like, okay, what's happening with these people that have canceled? We are not writing them off. Life
No.
happens.
Yeah.
Let's connect. And so I reached out to the person who no showed, and she was very apologetic, but she's like, I'm the only person who runs my store, and I just couldn't get away. I'm so sorry. Would you ever do something after 7 p.m.? And I
Oh,
was like, sure.
yeah. Actually,
Like,
that
yeah,
time.
like, let's do it tomorrow, And she's like, oh my God, thank you so much. This is so helpful. And
Mhm.
so I was like, okay, let's, get things back together. And then the lady who canceled for Tuesday, I reached out to her and I gave her a link to rebook. And she was like, they're in construction. And so she's like, we are working on this deck that is taking 3 times as long as we planned. And as soon as it's done, I will reschedule this. I'm so sorry. And I was like, okay, okay, let's treat people like they're human. Now,
Yeah.
um, so it kind of gave me some energy because when you feel like you're being ghosted, it's
Right.
kind of energy draining. Uh,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it's like boom, 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 three more new clients like popped up into the books. And I'm like, okay, this is why we're in business jail.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
what we're doing works and we just have to keep doing it, even when we think nothing is happening.
Yeah. I'm curious I've had several downloads while you were talking. I'm curious about a couple of things. Does anybody know their human design? Does anybody know do you know what your human design is, Becky?
Yes, I'm a manifesting generator.
Okay. And Lucy, do you know?
I think I'm a projector.
Oh, projector. Yeah. One of my clients, Pam, is a projector. So I know about projectors, or maybe it's Dawn. I forget which one, but projectors are very interesting. I heard specifically that manifesting generators, because you are like the type, and that's what I am as well, Becky, that you will have all these inspirations. We're actually supposed to follow them. But on another note, when the universe gives you something that might just feel like a taste or a piece of what you've been really looking for, then you're supposed to actually hold on to it and hold the frequency and hold the course so that the universe can deliver more. And so when you were saying how it's like felt like a downward spiral, but actually these were just like people being human and they had different reasons why they couldn't show up. And then you held the course and then more came in. That is something very specific to manifesting generators. And I'll have to look it up for projectors, Lucy. I don't know as much. Projectors generally just like operate like differently. I'm by no means a human design expert, but like I've been looking more and more into it lately, and a lot of things about it really land or really resonate. Um, the other thing I'm curious about is, do you have your people paying in advance? Because like for me, just like from a business procedural perspective, I have people that pay at least a week in advance before they start something with me or before they even have a one-on-one with me. And then I have a cancellation policy that like if they don't tell me within like the 24 hours, just because that's somebody else's spot that I would have had a call generally on my coaching days, then it's non-refundable. And I know that you don't maybe want to enforce that, especially if it's like somebody brand new that just started with you and you're like building a relationship, but do you
No,
have some
I
different things in
absolutely
place?
do. And
Okay.
I feel like I used to have the very strong boundaries about that.
Yeah.
And like you know, we book the call, you pay, it's paid for before we
Yeah.
even start, type of a thing. And this one woman who canceled for Tuesday without paying, that's on me, right? Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I did send her the invoice, she didn't pay, and there was something in my mind that was just like, this isn't this isn't good, because I have worked with her before, and so
Yeah.
there was a sense of trust, but I also know that just as a person, she's kind of flaky. And so I was like, she
Hmm.
didn't pay, which doesn't feel great, and now I know why. And so now when she rebooks, she's using a link where she has to pay when
Oh,
she
good.
books that new time. The lady that no showed, that was a 15-minute free consultation.
Okay.
And so there, it's okay. That one's okay.
That's okay too. Yeah. But just like for your time, I mean,
Yeah.
it's always good to know like that, they're invested and that they're going to show
Yeah.
up. And then obviously after like the first session, then you're going to advise them on like how they're going to continue to work with you. And then you can take like more regular payments and things like that. So
Mhm.
I love that. Okay, so it sounds like everybody's like just been in the, client, attraction, getting more people into their offers and things like that, which I think is really exciting. I think the more that we just follow what is channeling through when it comes to like our movement, our launches, and even like our message, it just starts really landing and it starts like compounding. And so today, what I was excited to talk about is just going more into like your core philosophy and the philosophy of your movement that you're creating. And all of these offers like converge, they all come together. So I know, Becky, you're calling it business jail. I like it like jail. I like devotion, or like I know what you mean. It's like fun. It's like a funny it's like a really funny way of thinking of it, but you're in devotion to like this movement that you're creating. And so what I would love to do is to just take a minute, like open up our divine channel and let go of anybody else's energy that might be clinging to us. The energy has been kind of weird the past week. I felt like a collective heaviness. I don't know if it's just since I arrived back in Los Angeles from being in Europe. I'm not sure, but I have felt something in the air. So let's release anybody else's energy. So what I want to do is I want to just reach your hands above your head. So just follow me really quick. Just go like this, gather the energy up. And then when your palms or your fingers start to connect, I want you to just bring them down. This is actually a Tai Chi move, but you bring it down. I want you to imagine your energy field and you're just slicing through it. And then actually, I kind of go out as I go down and I brush it away. So it's like somebody else's field is going away and out of yours. So bringing the energy up. So all of your energy back to you and down, you're going to slice all the way down and just releasing anybody's energy that's not your own. We're going to do it a third time. So bringing all of your energy back to you now, breathing in, and then just kind of coming in your own auric field, in your own chakra field, and just disconnecting all the way down, like releasing any energy that is not your own, slicing it away. Amazing. And so just taking another moment, just close your eyes. We're going to just open up our divine channel to all the creativity and all the inspiration that wants to come in today, all of the inspired action so that we can continue to spiral up. If you did not listen to the feeling meditation yet, which was day 3 of embodied icon, so I dropped first the thinking portion, then the being portion, and then the feeling portion. I want you to go back and listen to that because it's all about how we can be in these moments of abundance and bliss. And we can just start to link them together, like one by one, like every incredible moment. So I want you to just close your eyes. want you to think of an incredible, blissful moment that you had either earlier today, if it's morning for you, maybe yesterday, a blissful moment. Maybe it was just so much fun, doing your audios, or maybe it was just so much fun having dinner with your family, or maybe it was just so much fun. Like I went to this gorgeous park this morning because it was so hot. I couldn't go out to my regular park. So I went to like just a quick one out in nature. So find that abundant moment, the moment that you felt free, the moment that you felt inner peace. And I want you to just go into that moment for just a minute and just recognize that, like, we can start to just link all of those moments together. We can start to expand them, make them bigger and longer. And we can link that abundant moment to the next abundant moment. And that's how we spiral up with our feeling. You think of a client, maybe a client who didn't get back to you, right? I have one like that right now. And I want you to think of her or him and say, of course, they would love to do what you're offering, or of course, they would love to work with you. Likely they just have another thing going on. So of course, they would love to have this experience that you're offering. And when we really study our energy and we realize that our containers and our offers are there long term, then we will continue to have these amazing opportunities and these people that keep desiring to work with us, to take our courses, to have those experiences. So just breathing into that, of course, they desire this. Going into that frequency of a client who isn't in need. You're not solving their problems. It's a client that's in desire, that has the desire to walk with you and to journey with you, which is a really fun client to work with. They would love your offerings. And then bringing your attention back to that gratitude, that abundant feeling in your heart space, those abundant moments that you're linking together. And then link it with that, of course, she wants to. Of course, she would love to. And then as you're ready, bring your attention back into the room from this quick micro meditation and open your eyes. So I hope that you guys loved that. Yeah, usually people just are busy or distracted, and they do want to. They just need like a little nudge, a little reminder on how to work with you. So what I would love to do is I would love to go into this soul business ascension map. And I was really thinking, how can I give a tool that brings together all the work that we've done together this month? And it's this soul business ascension map, which I'll send out later today, but you'll have your notes. And so you'll be able to just quickly plug everything into this map. Okay. So I want to go into the essence of your business. Give me a thumbs up if this sounds fun. I want to go into the essence of your business, the frequency, the feeling of your business, which is this feeling of deep alignment. And I want to think a little bit about your core philosophy. And I want to invite you to fill in the blank. What do you believe about? And this is, what do you believe about? It could be business, wellness, wealth, creativity. I'm naming your niches because I already know your niches: alignment, shadow work, healing. I'm naming for people that aren't here as well. Theta healing. Okay, so what do you believe about your business? What's your core philosophy? I believe that. What does it stand for? So what's your core philosophy? And if you don't understand how I'm asking the question, just tell me and I'll try to ask it in a different way. So what's that core philosophy that's really motivating you and driving you and getting you really excited to do the work that you're doing? And I usually like to play music while you have just like 1 minute or 2 minutes to write it out. So I'm going to just pop on one of my favorite handpan players here. Okay, so what do you believe? What's that core philosophy? Okay, and then just give me a thumbs up. Yay. Okay, I think I see part of Becky's in the chat. I believe being in relationship with your money brings more abundance. Yes. And that's the kind of promise that when you talk about that, I know that we were talking a little bit in the Telegram chat about like one client said, Christine actually said, when you said like stress, when we kind of switched the messaging to feeling stress free about your books, like that really landed for her. For me, it really lands when I hear you talking about like how paying attention to money and being in a relationship with your money brings more abundance. And so I think that more you talk about that, like the bookkeeping is the tool, but this is like the bigger result or the outcome. Does that resonate? Yeah. I believe that we can self-heal through holistic guidance. I believe that too. And I think a lot of people are like really needing that right now. A lot of people that are having like, I talk to a lot of people that have like autoimmune or, more like long-term kind of illnesses. And I think that they're really looking for ways to heal themselves. I believe that every woman has a story to share, and that's yours too. That's from you, right, Lucy? Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. And even every body has a story to share, right? Like when we think about bodies. Okay, so that's the philosophy. All right. And then I want to go a little bit into the movement mission. So the mission of your movement. And this kind of stuff is really good for like, organic posts, but also if you are running ads, which, I would say that ads are fairly advanced strategy. But I have noticed that a lot of people, once they've nailed their organic messaging, they're starting to run ads just so that they don't have to show up as much and they can have like more time freedom. So that is one thing that I've been testing out now for over a year. I've been running different ads and I've worked with like 2 different ad experts. But it's helpful. It's really helpful. So we can use this kind of messages in our organic or in our like our ads. But so let's go into your mission a little bit. So the question is, what are you here to lead? And what change do you want to embody in the world? So I just had an article published on finding your creative edge. I thought about reading a little bit of it to you guys today because it's like, I think it just really helps you to hone in on your edge. The article is actually behind a paywall because I was going to just send it to you guys, but it's behind a paywall. So I thought maybe I'll read some of it toward the end today if we have time. I read it on retreat in Italy and the women really liked it. Okay, so that's the question. Amazing. And I think the second part is really interesting, that what change do you want to embody? Because when we start to think about how we want to change the world, how we want to shift it, then that's when our leadership really starts to become category of one. It starts to stand out. It starts to become different than the crowd. So I'd love to hear what's coming through your divine channel for those two questions. You can answer one or both. Feel free to just like come off mute, or you can drop them in the chat. More women business owners embracing their power with money. That's huge. And honestly, a topic that I feel like a lot of women are ready for. A lot of women are ready to know, okay, what do we do next? Right? Like, we've created this money, we've created this profit. Like, what do we do now? You know? Okay. And then what's the change? What would you say is like different about like maybe your message as compared to like other wealth coaches or other, financial coaches?
I don't know.
Okay. So, and that's fine. Like I'm putting it out there. It's like everybody's having to think of things on this spot right now. But I want you to really think about that, because like, I know I gave the example of like Ken Honda. He's like happy money and he's like very simple. I don't know if you know Jen Sincero. She's like, she writes all those "You Are a Badass" books, or "You're Amazing at." She's kind of got this edginess to her philosophy. I'm sure that there's a way that you stand out. I'm sure that there's a way that you have a creative edge. I just want to like turn it up and like dial more into that. And so I think I will read part of the excerpt from Finding Your Creative Edge, just because as you're listening, something might drop in. So does that sound good?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't hear what the question you said earlier.
Oh,
To Becky.
To Becky, the second part, what change do you want to embody in the world? So like it's almost like what makes your work different, but it's also like, how would you like to see your specific industry change and shift? And I feel like that's really, really important, because once you've realized that part of your message, then that's how you stand out from all the other coaches. And not like we have to stand out. Like there's so many people in the world. So there's like so many people that can discover Becky and her coaching. But I find that like once you do stand out, it makes it even easier to attract like that soul aligned client or person. Okay. Just give me a thumbs up if this is landing. I attracted a woman through an ad that used to live in LA, which was really interesting for me. And so sometimes they might even just connect with like where you're at geographically, right? They might be like, oh, that's where I used to live, or that's where I am. And I really think that's like the universe is like bringing us together. Or maybe like I have a bunch of clients from Toronto area right now. So like maybe that's just an area where I'm, really drawn to and finding clients. Okay, Lucy, I'm here to lead women past versions of me. Ooh, I love that. To increase more joy and love in their souls. I love that. Women being supported to be seen and heard in a busy world. Beautiful. That's your mission. And would you say that your work, Lucy, because I am just getting to know it, it's like all like holistic, like wellness based, right? Is that correct? And then your midlife coaching is kind of weaving holistic wellness with like midlife, like the midlife journey, correct?
Yeah, so I'm a menopause doula, but I don't focus just on the science bit of things. I focus more on the spiritual aspect of what you're going through during that phase.
And I think and that's really magical. So when I say part two of the question is like, what change do you want to embody in the world? Like, what would you love to see different about, you know, I guess, like the midlife journey? Like, what would you love to see different about it? And I just heard you say it, but actually want to hear a little bit more. Like, what would you love to hear be different about that?
Oh gosh. I think there's a lot of women who just suffer in silence and don't know that they can get help. So I think that's the change I'd like to see, is that there is help, and you know, you don't have to just suffer in silence. And you know, there's other people who are going through similar situations, because I say no menopause journey is the same, because everybody's unique. So but there's always that crossover where you can still talk about it. Yeah, so it's just having open conversations.
Yeah. And then I heard you say that you're interested in the spiritual side of it
Mm.
versus like the scientific, not that you're like ignoring the scientific side, but that's just a side that you like emphasize more.
Yeah, it's about the like the rite of passage, and the seasons, and like I said,
Mhm.
it's the, you know, the second spring, which is the Chinese, traditional Chinese medicine. They use that term.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, but I think spiritually, with when women are going through that, they actually become very intuitive, especially like that perimenopause stage. Um, and yeah, just knowing how to use that intuition then.
And I think some women are also like unaware that that's even what's going on,
Mm.
right? And so then when you bring to their awareness that that's like what's going on, then I feel like there's a big awakening or a big aha moment.
Yeah, yeah, definitely the awakening. So yeah, I talk about that. So my other program is awakening in mid. I used to call it finding the magic in midlife, but I've changed the name. Awakening your magic in midlife.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where I want to go into the coaching, and but I'm still trying to work out that space.
Okay, what do you mean by you're still trying to work out that space, just so I can understand?
Well, I've got the program ready.
Okay.
I just haven't really put it out there, and I don't know, maybe I'm also a little bit I don't know about shy, but
Mhm.
knowing how to put it out there, because it's all there, it's already, the back end's already, like if someone booked in, I would do it, but I think,
Oh,
yes,
good. And
how,
is it a one-on-one journey that people can go on
yeah,
with you? Yeah.
it's actually three calls, 60-minute calls, and then this is like I've got a beautiful workbook. There's journaling prompts and things like that as well. Yeah.
Okay, so I think this kind of like flows us into the next question that I have, and this is things that we were talking about. I talked about this individually on almost every single person, their one-on-one breakthrough call, but like when you're also thinking about how to put things out there, so part of it is like organic marketing and like starting to talk about it and starting to whisper about it and starting to like bring people's attention that you have this offer. So that's one part. But the other part is like the more practical, tactical, which is the ascension pathway. And I call it the ascension pathway because it's like, what do people do with you first? Then what can they do with you second? And then, what could they do with you third or fourth? And so everybody's client journey is super unique. This has been something that I've just been having so much fun honing in on, I would say, for the past 2 years. But you get to design your client's unique journey with you, how they flow from the first touch point with you to mastery of what you teach. I would say my highest levels of mastery are inside this mastermind and also on my retreats. So, for you guys, I want you to think about your client's first touch point, how they come to you, and then what they do next, and then maybe what they do even third or fourth. And so, this is the prompt: design your client's unique journey from flow, the first touch point, to the mastery, the deepest, the highest level experience that they can have with you. And what does that look like? And even if you're just like jotting down your ideas right now, I think that's really helpful. Then you'll get this workbook and you can plug them all in. You'll have something tangible from the month.
that is something that I've been trying to think about.
I know. Yeah.
It is, I feel like the answer is like right there,
It's right in front of
but
you. Yeah.
it's like I can't quite see it clearly yet. And for me, where I get stuck in that journey concept
Yeah.
is like my one-on-one clients, they really are, when it comes to the problem we're solving,
Hmm.
they are very different, like very different.
Hmm.
And I know that there's got to be some common denominator, right? There's got to be something in
Right.
there. I
Right.
just haven't quite like turned that dial enough for it to be obvious, because
And once
I
it
have,
becomes obvious, it's going to become so obvious.
yeah.
I used to have a lot of different clients like this, Becky, and it used to be hard for me to see what they all had in common until I realized like all of my clients were either like light, like all different kinds of light workers, or
Mhm.
they're and usually they're light workers and high achieving women. So they're not just like entrepreneurs that are successful, but they were oftentimes soul-led leaders that were very high achieving. I would get a lot of art therapists, a lot of doctors coming to me, like a lot of head litigators, like, and I was thinking, what do these women even have in common,
Mhm.
And until it like you said, you turn the dial and suddenly the dial comes into focus and you can see, oh my gosh, this is the thread. Usually it has something to do with how you are too. Like I liked Lucy's comment that said versions of me, right? Um, do you feel like your women are all high achievers?
Who, me?
I
Yeah.
was actually I was actually asking Becky that, but I'm
Oh,
just
sorry.
I mean,
no, no.
I feel like in my definition of what a high achiever is, like probably not, but
Okay.
I feel like that's kind of
Okay.
insulting to say, but I
Mhm.
also don't consider myself in that category of high achiever.
Mhm.
Because when I think of high achiever, I think of people who have master's degrees and PhDs, and they take this path all the way to the end, and they have all these different things.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's how
That's your idea. Okay.
that's my how I envision it. But like when I try to map out like who are like my best clients, my favorite clients,
Mhm.
things like that, or the clients who've paid the most overall,
Right.
it's it's not, there's just something, it's just like it just doesn't seem super obvious. I mean, they're all business owners,
Mhm.
and but they don't all even make the same amount of money.
Mhm.
So I think it's there. I think that
Are
I
they all, I'm just curious, are they all seeking to like have a different relationship with wealth and money?
I think most of the time my clients are project oriented. Like this is, I need help doing this project. I need help.
Accountability?
Well, like I need help fixing this, like, and so I have the expertise and I have the authority and I have the personality that they want to work with,
Mhm.
someone who's like kind and won't like talk, to talk to them like they're a kindergartner.
Right.
Um, but like they all have very different businesses, very different
So,
businesses.
like when you say project based, like what I'm hearing is they're like people that are hiring you because without you, they're not going to tackle this project or they're not going to take care of this project. And
Mhm.
so then that makes me curious about like, are you providing them some level of accountability with your services? Because instead of it being something abstract where you're like really elevating their wealth frequency, which that
Right.
like really speaks to me. But I'm curious about your clients. Maybe they might say that they're getting some form of accountability through working with you and strategy, you know?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of different things they're getting from me. They're getting my knowledge base they're getting an accounting expert because they're not one. And most business owners aren't. And they just need someone with a little more knowledge than they have about how this thing works. Now, one thing I do think is true is that without completing this project, they really can't get over that obstacle to the next level of business. Like, this obstacle is keeping them from going here, right?
Yeah.
Once we take this out of the way, they're like, okay, now I can go here. I am not confident that they see that before they hire me. I
Right.
think
You're
I
like
think that
showing
they
them
see
actually.
I think they see the problem and only the problem, and they don't see like, oh, once this problem is moved out of the way, then I'll be able to scale my business or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
So
'cause
I'm
I've tried to
curious, like,
use,
are you able to even pinpoint like what those points on the journey are, or not really because it's so unique to individual?
I think after this conversation, I'm going to take some time and do it again. You
Yeah.
know, just
Yes.
like put those clients' names on start
Yes.
making a list, and what did we do and who were they and where did they live
So
and what was
helpful.
their business and that kind of a thing, just so
Okay.
I can look at it again
I'm
for
going
me.
to ask this question differently, but I want to hear also Lucy's answer. But then this is just a different way that I'll ask it in the workbook. So, if you designed your dream client journey, what does that look like? So, if you were able to say, okay, because it's true that not everybody is going to have the exact same things, right? But if
Mhm.
you were able to wave a magic wand and say, we're going to work through this, and then we're going to work through this next obstacle, and then this next one, and then fourth, we're going to do that, what would that journey look like? Fourth to me is like wealth legacy. Like it's like something very expansive and integrated at the end. But I would love for you to like, like you said, when you have more time to really sit with that and think about what those four steps would look like.
Yeah. I think I'm going to have to think about it.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's why I'm asking the question differently too, because I think it's maybe more interesting to think about.
where is this workbook? Is it
It's
in
going to
school?
be, I'm going to just put it in the school portal, but I'll probably attach it to the email that goes out as well and just say, hey, here is your soul business ascension map. It's going to
Mhm.
be a workbook that you can just fill this stuff in. But I thought, let's go through the notes live because I love to hear what everybody's like kind of coming up with and coming up against. Lucy, do you have some different pathways so far, four different, stages
Um,
that they work with you at, or is it still kind of coming into like,
yeah, I think when I saw that question, it's like having trouble connecting the dots. Like I feel like it's a bit of a gray area still.
uh-huh. No, yeah, I think that's pretty normal actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a few different things. Because I mean, when you were talking about the second question, the word funnel came into my mind. Are you talking about like,
It can be. It can certainly be like that. I think of funnels as an ecosystem actually where people can flow between offers, but definitely, when people go through these different stages with you, then they kind of start to hit. So I could share with you a little bit like what my four stages are. And mine are, of course, very like energetic and like abstract, but these are kind of the four stages that I have for mine right now is like they're kind of on an awakening journey and they deepen into like an alignment journey with me. Then they go more into embodiment and expansion. And so, like, the embodiment and expansion would be like if they sign up for like a 9 week immersion with me, or they're in MUSE Mastermind, or they're at any of my soul awakening retreats. That would be like a legacy, like an expansion level. The awakening level is like, well, maybe they've taken like my 21 days of Awaken Your Magic, or maybe they've taken one of my workshops, and then the alignment level is where I really check, make sure that they're like the right client in my world, right, to flow into these deeper containers. And that alignment level is like maybe they've taken a one-on-one with me, like the Wealthy CEO Reset or a one-on-one breakthrough session. And so that's how like they progress from just kind of awakening and having an awareness of my work to, being a soul aligned client and then to flowing into these like more deeper offerings. Doesn't mean that that pathway, obviously, this is just an example, but I'm curious about how people might flow through your world and your offerings. Yeah, so it's a lot of food for thought. So I'll leave that for the workbook, okay? I don't want to put you like on the spot right now, especially if you're like still kind of
Your
thinking.
list was really helpful for me, like just to see what you are thinking in your own business. Like
Mhm.
that kind of helped
I think
with
it's
me.
helpful. I love to see what other coaches are doing because then I'm like, oh, just gives me more structure, more ideas. Hmm.
Yeah, like if I really boil it down, I can get something that simple, like that really
Yeah.
dialed in, and
Yeah.
then it really just makes everything else clear.
Yeah. And imagine they come into your podcast,
Mhm.
then they have a one-on-one session with you, then they
Mhm.
sign up for a 9 week journey or a 3 month, basically a 3 month journey where they're getting some kind of a recurring, monthly recurring experience with you. And then whenever you have like maybe you have a year-long thing, or maybe you have a 6 month thing, or maybe, and it doesn't have to be that, or is there a retreat or something where they really go on like an immersion or a deep dive? Maybe it's like a VIP weekend, um, where they go like on a deep dive with you. Um, and I do think that like I'm seeing some coaches that are really just having the first two levels, like the low ticket and the mid ticket. And I was like listening to case studies, one coach that just has the low ticket and the mid ticket scaled that to $1 million. So you don't even have to have level 3 and 4.
Mhm.
Um, so it's just really about what resonates with you. But I wanted to just throw that out there. I'm working on this at the moment. The awakening whisper. Ooh, the unraveling, the remembering, the reclaiming, the rising. Definitely the language has me very curious about what those are, Lucy.
Yeah, because I was thinking those were going to be my workshop themes.
Mhm.
So people would come to each one, but also, yeah, I'm thinking about how I could expand those things as well
Mhm.
into other areas.
Mhm. Well, this month we're going, so when we go more into our magnetic messaging and our mission, because I feel like we're becoming the oracle. So everything that we say is like an expression. We're going to do a Reiki clearing of the throat chakra. We're going to connect the third eye and the heart space so that the channel is like really, really, really strong and really flowing. We're going to dial into our messaging so that we can start just speaking it. I'd say I've really been watching a lot of her posts on Facebook, and her messaging is like getting super clear. I would say like really a lot of clarity coming through there. And so we're going to be going through all of that, and we can think about you know, these different ways that people move through the path with us, as well as our content pillars, which is something I went over on the inspiration retreat because it's something that the clients were really wanting to deep dive into. Like, what are those pillars that they keep coming back to talking about in their business? So we'll go more into that next time. But for today, I want to ask there's a little bit more to this packet. There's like 4 more steps. I'm going to do one more step with you right now, and then we'll kind of wrap up in the next 10-15 minutes because I know you guys have other things going on today. But what are the frameworks? And just if you have a few rituals or teachings that make your work distinct? I love this. I love this question. So this is like Creative Edge, and I think I'll just read you a tiny excerpt from Creative Edge, and then I'm going to do it as a recording. I'm going to read it and record it and drop it into the Telegram. So you don't have to just listen to me read for 5 minutes. I'll just do a little excerpt today. But just think about this. Start thinking about this. What are some frameworks that you teach or some rituals that make your work really different and unique? Like, this is something that my clients ask me for. It can be as simple as that.
Mm. Are you asking that question? Or
Yeah,
like,
I
okay.
am, but I wanted to give you a second to write it down. So just take like, or do you already have it, Becky?
Well, I do. I'm trying to figure out like what do I do with this? Because usually just teach this on a one-on-one. And
That's
so
great. But the more you've got your unique frameworks, the more you can think about if you ever have the desire to create a course or group program, then obviously you could start to put these frameworks into your course or your group program.
Mhm.
How does that resonate with you? Like, are you thinking more to do
Yeah.
more one-on-one
So
work, or are you wanting to do more like group work? What are you feeling?
I really don't like group work. It
Mhm.
just I've
Yeah,
I just had
and
this
that's fine.
conversation.
Yeah.
I just had this conversation with Wendy this morning, and I was just,
Uh-huh.
I don't know why I keep trying to force myself to do it when I hate it so much. Like,
You don't enjoy it. Yeah.
I don't enjoy it at all.
Interesting. Yeah.
I'm much better one-on-one or pre-recorded, right?
Right. Like a
Or
course.
like a course. Um, and so I've done courses in the past, and I've, done different things, and I'm now with a future vision, looking back, I can kind of see where things can be improved and making them more concise. Um, and so one of the things that I do teach is how to do your bookkeeping in 20 minutes or less each week. Um, but I rarely ever, I don't teach that to the masses. I don't have a freebie. I don't have a lead generator for it. I don't, and I'm just in this conversation, I'm like, oh, well, that would make sense to kind of
Yeah. Yes.
start kind of show people the option, but give them like the light version, I guess, as a lead gen. I don't, I'd have to really think about that or not.
No, that like, so when you said that I teach people how to do their bookkeeping in 20 minutes or less, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a course. That's literally like a course or a mini course that has a downloadable. I mean, it would not be difficult to create that. And what's
Right.
interesting is I don't think everybody has to love group. Like, I don't believe that everybody has to love group. People, you can have a coaching business where you have a thriving one-on-one practice of high-level VIP clients, or you can have a business where you're selling your courses on autopilot, you know?
Yeah. I would like to
And
just say, it's not that I don't like being in a group. I don't like leading the
I get it. I get it. I knew what you meant because I'd be like, oh my gosh, you like wouldn't even show up for this. You'd be like, bye. The funniest thing is I was the opposite because when I started coaching, I started with courses and then I pivoted to groups. And then because I felt like I wasn't getting to know people like intimately because I wasn't like having one-on-ones with them, then I went into one-on-one because I wanted to like get to know my clients' problems, which I don't even believe in that model anymore, but get to know them really intimately and journey with them. And I was terrified and hated doing one-on-one sessions. Then, fast forward like 3 years of one-on-ones later, I ended up really loving it and really loving to get to know my clients and like journey with them.
Mhm.
For me, now the sweet spot is kind of like this hybrid where I have some one-on-one coaching calls and some breakthrough sessions, and then we're in a group because I think that we just like so much lands and integrates like in a group because you hear what other people are doing. And I'm all about like the connection and like the relationships that people make inside the group. And the same way for my retreats. But I'm really loving courses for like the time freedom, and the ability for people to take them on the go and to integrate on the go. So I'm curious if that 20 bookkeeping in 20 minutes or less, I mean, that sounds like a genius course that a ton of people would buy and
Yeah.
a way that people could come into your world. Maybe it's a framework that you teach
Yeah.
later on that ascension journey. And that's really like what I think is going to be interesting for you to decide at what point do you introduce that? And does that become part of your signature framework
Yeah.
or course?
So the very first course I made, kind of had it in there, but that course was so big, and it was just sort of like, I'm going to record everything I
Yeah,
know,
I
like dump it all in here. And it got like that transformation got lost, in
hmm
the expansiveness of this course. I don't offer that course anymore because QuickBooks changed their platform, and I'm waiting for all those changes to be done so that I can re-record it, because right now it's
Right. It's like every time Facebook updates, then every Facebook ads course but why have I taken 4? Well,
right.
because
Yeah,
people keep teaching it from a different angle, but also because Facebook keeps changing things, and then I have to keep like, relearning things, how
right.
things are working. Okay. So I'm going to send out this workbook. Lucy, did you have a unique, I mean, I know you have a lot of different frameworks. I know we've talked and you have a lot of different frameworks and rituals, but are there any that are like really specific to you that you would love to share right now?
Um, I think I love the one-on-ones, but when I do group work, it's usually a very small group, so it's quite intimate. But I know when I first started doing those, it was embodying that. My body didn't really like that frequency of being the leader, the group
Okay.
leader. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think time and practice has helped a lot. But yeah, my sacred circles are usually quite small. And yeah, I was just thinking about teaching. I'm a Reiki master as well, but I've never really, I did want to teach Reiki at one point, but yeah, that sort of ship sailed. And yeah, that's a difficult question. Um,
Yeah, I think that like some of these frameworks might be like right under your like you guys might like think about this later and you might be like, "Oh my gosh, like yes, like this is like, what I teach." I'm also a big fan of naming your frameworks. And so if you have a framework that you've been teaching but you've never given it a name, I love the idea of putting words and a name on it. So we'll probably go more into this because I feel like this is really tied to messaging, because once you can name your framework, then you can start sharing. It becomes something like even more tangible. It's like we're taking the intangible and we're making it something even more tangible. A lot of the things that coaches are coaching are they're our own intellectual property, right? Unless we're like, again, a Reiki trainer and we're teaching Usui Reiki or some other master's version, we're actually teaching our own intellectual property and our own frameworks that we've created that are really unique to us. And so putting words to it, I think, is super powerful. And so we'll go more into that. No pressure to do that all today. I want to read you like just maybe, let's see, maybe, okay, I'm going to read you the part of the creative, awakening your creative channel, which I talk about blending in versus standing out. And this is like the whole article is probably 5 minutes. So this paragraph is going to be like one, but I think I'm going to just record myself reading the whole article. Since the article is, I told like my retreat clients, oh, I'm just going to send it to you. Then I realized the article is behind a paywall. So I think I'll just do a voice recording and drop it into some different spaces. And then we've got a few more people joining us inside of this little mastermind in November. So I'm really excited about that. So blending in versus standing out. The tip of your creative edge is the difference between blending in and standing out. In a world of templates and formulas, your originality is often treated as an afterthought, the icing on the cupcake. Yet it is the very thing that gives your work its power and its depth. It's not just about branding or aesthetics, it's about essence. Your creative edge is where the innovation happens. It's where your resonance deepens. It's the place where we stop copying and we start becoming the channel. For years, my own creative edge expressed itself through sustainable fashion. I was initiated as a code keeper for natural indigo vat, an ancient living alchemy that requires patience, intuition, and a deep respect for nature. I didn't realize it then, but those hours of meditative dying in my Los Angeles garden, I was tapping into something profound, connection to the divine. It wasn't just about color or fashion, it was about channeling codes of energy into the physical reality. And here's what I've come to understand: creativity is energy, our thoughts are energy. Everything we consume, read, and listen to is a portal. The way that we focus and direct our attention shapes the work that we bring into the world. And for multi-passionates especially, this is vital. What are you in devotion to? Art, music, shadow work, healing, whatever it is, it shapes your capacity to lead, to innovate, and to inspire. And in the next chapter is creativity as the antidote. So I'm going to record the whole thing and drop it into Telegram, but I think it's a really great way for us to wrap up this first month of becoming the divine channel for our offerings and really starting to, solidify the different ways that our work is unique, the ways that we stand out, and then starting to put that into words, which is going to be super powerful in November. So does anybody have any final thoughts or anything? They were like, Hilary, I really wanted to talk about this today, but instead you wanted to talk about that. So is there anything that anybody wanted to add or to say before we hop off today? I'm like over here sweating. I don't know if you guys could tell, it's like 90 degrees in here. It's very hot for the end of October in Los Angeles.
I think I'm good. I have some tasks for myself.
Okay, good. That's actually, let's end with that. Let's have, if you don't already, and you don't have to share them, but you could share one if you want to. If you have like just 2 tasks, and that's like what my week has been like, just focusing on, and this is actually a thing. Do you guys know who Mr. Wonderful is? That guy who's like a Shark Tank business
Oh
coach?
yeah.
Who he is. I can't believe I got so bored that I listened to he had a 1 hour and 43-minute show on the airplane, British Airways from London to LA. And I was like, oh, let me listen to business stuff. I love listening to business stuff. And so I started listening to him, and he was saying how he used to work with Steve Jobs. And he was talking about how the one thing he said Steve Jobs wasn't a very nice person and he wasn't a really kind person, anything like that. And the show was very masculine. So I actually ended up needing to kind of turn it off after 15 minutes. But the thing that I loved about it was he said that Steve was like a signal keeper and he would only do these kind of top level tasks every single day. And those were the top level tasks that he determined would move the needle forward in his business. And it's only like 2 or 3 things. And I was like, well, this is amazing because this is what I do every single day. I just identify the 2 aligned, inspired actions that I know are like my next steps. And so I loved it. I felt like it was confirmation if Mr. Wonderful's doing it, if that's what Steve Jobs was also doing. Just thinking about, okay, what are the 2 things, really simple things that if I do those things today, I'm going to be on track for tomorrow. So I love that, Becky, that you already have 2. And I want to invite everybody else, if you're watching later, if you're on the call now, to identify your 2 high-level tasks that are going to move your business forward, and just do those today or tomorrow, since it's the end of the day for some of us. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here live. It was amazing to see you, and I'll see you all next time. And if you can respond about your availability inside of the Telegram, that would be really helpful. I'll send a confirmation out for the November dates. But what I might end up doing is doing 2 on Wednesdays and 2 on Mondays. I might do them back and forth like that, depending on what everybody says.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.